Never thought a $125 ticket could trigger an avalanche bigger than anything I ever plowed. But that's exactly how it started. One bitter Wyoming morning breath, freezing midair, hands numb even through the thickest gloves. And there it was, a bright orange citation plastered right on my windshield, accusing me of unauthorized engine idling while I loaded salt and sand to keep the neighborhood moving. Not a warning, not a chat, just a fine cold as the wind that morning. Let me paint the picture. January, in Willow Creek. Wyoming isn't for the faint of heart. We're talking minus 17, no wind chill, just straight up Arctic misery. The kind of weather that cracks your skin, kills a diesel engine if you so much as blink. I'd left my truck running 12 minutes tops, because that's what you do if you want it to ever start again. And for 6 years, nobody said a word. I was the plow guy, the one with the old red rig ember scraping 3 cul-de-sacs, the east visitor lot, a couple of trails. Not a hero, just the guy folks could count on when winter did its worst. Everything changed that fall. New HOA board. New President Madison Lure straight from some Arizona suburb, clutching her clipboard like a badge. She came in with a smile that never reached her eyes, and a list of new rules: change the gate codes without notice, send emails about air quality, criticize my crew for using gas-powered blowers. And then the fine. I remember confronting her standing there in the wind ticket still stuck to my window. She didn't even break stride, just said, "Idling is a violation. Further incidents will void your contract." Her SUV, by the way, was still huffing exhaust behind her. That's when I realized this wasn't about air quality. This was about power. So I stopped clearing the east lot. Let the snow pile up. Folks noticed, got texts from neighbors stuck in their sedans sliding sideways in the ice. I kept my mouth shut and let the blizzard make my point. Didn't take long for the consequences to hit. The HOA threw their annual winter gala anyway, fancy fundraiser people in tuxes and high heels, tiptoeing over 4 inches of glassy snow, slipping and cursing while their cars spun helplessly. I watched from down the block, then went home, pulled my old trail cam from storage, and cracked open the red notebook I hadn't touched since my days at the county prosecutor's office. That's right. I wasn't always the snow guy. Spent 8 years investigating fraud contractor scams, money vanishing into thin air, all that. Thought I'd left that behind when I traded subpoenas for snow chains, but old habits die hard. A few days later, Leo, former HOA treasurer, slides into my DMs. He's got a flash drive, says he's done with secrets. We meet at a diner. He's shaking when he hands it over. That night, I opened the folder. Fake invoices for emergency snow removal from companies that don't exist. Payments for storms that never happened. It's retaliation, clear as day. Punish the guy who won't play ball, cover up the tracks. The next storm blows in, the kind that makes the whole world vanish behind a wall of white. I roll up to the south gate, chained and padlocked. No warning, no code, just locked out. For the first time in 6 winters, I can't do my job. So I document everything, video, photos, even the direction of the wind that day. Madison might have been new in town, but she should have known you can't block emergency access during a declared weather advisory, not when that road leads to fire lanes and utility hookups. After that, I went full investigator. Charted every snow removal invoice, matched them to storm dates, ran the vendors through state records. Nothing. Shell companies, all of them dead links, out-of-state addresses, payments, routed through accounts tied to Lurie Management Services. Madison's signature, her brother's name, even a few friends from her old life back west. It was right there in black and white. I brought the evidence to Michelle, my paralegal friend, the only one who still wore gloves indoors. "No fingerprints, not yet," she said with a grin. She asked if I'd testify. Didn't hesitate for a second. We mapped the whole thing out. Fraud, mail misuse, retaliation, wire fraud. More than enough for a civil RICO case. We were ready to go nuclear. But in small towns, courts aren't enough. People need to know what's happening to their money. I sent everything to the Cold River Courier, told them the story in plain English. The article hit front page, HOA pays for ghost plows while locking out real ones. Neighbors started calling, digging up their own bills, remembering all the times the plow never came, how they were told it was handled, even when they could see the snow for themselves. Then Carl, the old architecture chair, calls me. "Check the clubhouse remodel budget," he says. 80 grand. Nobody remembers approving it. Sure enough, the numbers are inflated expenses, duplicated line items, shuffled between snow removal and construction. It's classic laundering. Leo comes through again, a manila envelope, 2 signed contracts granting seasonal services to a shell company managed by Madison's brother. Now, it's not just fraud, it's nepotism and self-dealing. I dig deeper, cross-referencing every payment, every snow event, every vendor. By the time I'm done, I've got proof they pocketed over $114,000 on fake work in just over a year. Then comes the legal avalanche. The county court freezes, the HOA's accounts, orders a forensic audit, demands Madison hand over every contract. The audit finds $200,000 missing, 9 fake companies and violations of state municipal codes. Madison tries to keep the game going, registers a new LLC in her brother's name, pushes for emergency services, but now she's under a microscope. And the final blow, that old easement clause. I still owned access to the east lot. All those fines, all those locked gates, illegal, every single one. Madison's camp goes on the attack, threatens to report me for criminal trespass files, zoning complaints about my equipment, even accuses me of harassment. But every move backfires. FOIA requests show she's been weaponizing the city bureaucracy, targeting anyone who dares speak up. Rebecca Sloan, resident, gets reported for putting up a flyer about auditing the HOA budget. When she opens up to the courier, the town explodes. People line up at my door not for plowing, but for advice on how to take their community back. It all leads up to the recall vote. The clubhouse, once locked and silent, is packed wall to wall. Neighbors stand and tell their stories, fines for broken lights, threats over paint color, punishment for parking a car the wrong way. Rebecca steps forward, motion in hand, 60 signatures calling for a new board. The vote isn't even close. Recall passes 87-12. Afterward, Madison tries to defend herself. Says the vendors were recommended, that mistakes were administrative, but nobody's buying it. I stand up, lay out the evidence, fake contracts for storms that never happened while she was out of town. She sits down, and the room goes still. With the board gone, the new leadership steps in. Stan, an accountant from Sycamore Loop, volunteers as treasurer. Rebecca becomes resident liaison. Michelle drafts new bylaws, monthly budget reports, public contracts. No more closed-door deals. They repave the east lot, hang a sign, R62 public easement. No locks, no lies. And just like that, the town feels lighter, almost human again. The county's final report comes in $212,800 stolen, 9 fraudulent contracts, 3 municipal violations. Madison and her brother lose their assets, get banned from HOA boards for life. No jail time, but they leave town, faces lowered. I don't take damages, just reimbursement and a new bylaw for third-party audits every single year. That spring, I sit on the bench by the aspen trees, watch the kids race bikes through puddles, and finally I breathe. The old truck Ember rests under the pines, paint chipped but proud. She carried me through every drift, every silent accusation, every buried lie. So what's the lesson? Power corrupts fastest where nobody's watching. But community that's built in the trenches, one plowed driveway, one late-night conversation, one neighbor willing to ask, where'd our money go? Bullies work in silence. Truth doesn't. Let's be honest, plenty of folks out there have weathered their own storms, maybe not with snow, but with fines, intimidation, abuse of power. Where's the line between leadership and tyranny? When does keeping order become hiding secrets? Have you ever been on the receiving end, stood up to someone with a title, or been punished for speaking out? Share your stories, your scars, your small victories. Because sometimes the only way to melt the ice is together. And once justice starts to thaw, it doesn't freeze over again.